Hey guys, Costa here for OzGamers, and this week on Throwback Thursday we are playing King's Quest 5 Absence Makes the Heart Go Yonder, which is the first King's Quest game to be that was point and click. So instead of typing in commands, they actually came with the icon system, which is walk, the walk icon, the look.
With a fine view of a rushing river, they go to down along an old rutted road.
And use or grab or something like that and talk. And obviously just an interactive inventory. And also this is it was released in 1990, and pretty much straight after they released a CD-ROM version, and this is the CD-ROM version. This is one of the very first CD-ROM games that was fully voiced, and because of that it's actually voiced by a lot of the staff at Sierra. So our follower here, Cedric, has probably one of the worst video game voices of all time, and that includes all the Resident Evil games, so it's a big call.
See the road there? To the east is the town.
As you can hear there, it's Cedric the owl.
You'll find a rundown inn if you follow the road to the west.
You. Oh, that's just terrible.
Ooh, I'll wait for you here, Graham.
And Cedric kinda is a coward, so he doesn't follow you to a lot of places. And this is the bakery.
And how is your poor dear mother doing, William?
Oh, she hasn't been doing too well lately. But my brother and I help out whenever we can. Thanks for asking, Amanda.
Austin, keep your fingers out of that pie. The pies look lovely. I think I'll take one.
Yes, they were just made fresh this morning. Here you go.
Yes, they were just made fresh this morning,
Yes,
so
this will be a fine dessert for our dinner tonight.
the
Come
acting
on,
is
Austin.
incredibly stilted.
What's your name?
My name is Austin. I'm with my mama. We're buying a pie for dinner tonight.
That's nice.
And we'll talk
Hey, madam.
to the,
that pie
the
looks
lady.
awfully good.
Yes, my family will enjoy it, I'm sure.
And we have to wait till they leave before we can actually do anything.
Here's the last of the pies.
And there's the last of the pies, even though it looks like
Welcome
there's
to
another
our
4 there.
bakehouse, traveler. Of course,
They're
all
just
of our
display
recipes
only.
are wonderful, but today we've got a special on custard pies. Just 1 silver coin each, but take your time. Let me know when you're ready.
So 1 silver coin for a pie, and hey, lo and behold, we do have one because we found it in this town. So we'll go ahead and buy a custard pie.
Sir, I would like to purchase one of your custard pies.
These pies cost 1 silver coin each.
I've got it right here. Here you go.
I hope you enjoy your custard pie.
Oh, I'm sure I will.
There we go, now we got a custard pie.
The custard pie looks delicious.
So the descriptions are all, which used to be text. In this one there's actually no subtitles available unless you're playing the actual text version. And that custard pie, you can pretty much eat and play the rest of the game, and then much later on, when you come across the Yeti, you'll basically be stuck and not be able to complete or move any further, because you're supposed to save the custard pie for that point and throw it at the Yeti, and it hits him in the face in a comical way, and he falls off a cliff, which is the crazy logic that is the hallmark of King's Quest games. Basically there's dead ends left, right and center. If you know LucasArts Adventures, they were made famous because they had no dead ends. The Sierra games had a lot of dead ends.
Ooh, watch out for the bear, Graham.
And it's a lot of just random events that you don't know, what's going to do what. So this is a fish which we found in the town, so we can lure the bear away from the hornets or the bees.
I'm Queen Beatrice, free to achieve one. I promise my bees won't harm you. It may come in handy on your travels.
And a lot of King's Quest is just completing a lot of puzzles without knowing exactly what things mean until later on. And
Reaches a hand into the beehive and retrieves a very sticky chunk of honeycomb. Wrap it in a protective piece of cloth. You then pocket it.
and so you can get stuck quite a bit because sometimes you may not even know. So the honeycomb, if you don't solve this puzzle, when you actually need the honeycomb, just much later on,
Picks up the large
you
stick
don't
from
know
the
what
ground.
you pretty much won't know that what you need is honeycomb, and you'll be stuck and won't be able to complete the game. So there also we found a stick. So King's Quest V is actually the first VGA King's Quest, and it's also the one where we're actually controlling Graham from the first 2 King's Quest games. He's got grey hair now, and his son's been kidnapped or something, and now we're in some magical land trying to find him. And in order to find him, to get to his palace, we need to cross an ice mountain. But in order to do that, we need to just do a lot of random stuff to get all the items we need to succeed. And there we found a stick.
A bully of a dog terrorizes the poor ants. He blatantly digs at their large anthill.
So this is one of the only situations where basically the solution to the puzzle is pretty much right there. And now the ants will be
Allow me to introduce myself.
thankful.
I'm King Anthony the Great. May I ask who you are?
Well, certainly. I'm King Graham of Daventry, and this is my friend Cedric. We're seeking a way to cross the Great Mountains, the ocean on the other side.
That is a very perilous undertaking. I wish you would reconsider. But if still not, in return for rescuing our home from that flea-bitten cur, we wish to offer you our help if chance you may ever need it.
Thank you very much, King Anthony. Cedric and I appreciate your kind offer. We look forward to meeting you again.
So now we know that the ant's going to help us in some situation later on, which comes in handy. And at any point you can talk to Cedric to kind of get a lay of the land. A lot of early King's Quests are just exploring the areas and working out exactly what you can and can't do, what little puzzles you can solve, etc., etc. And you pretty much only learn that by just trial and error, really. Okay, and
Nothing but a hot, dry desert around. Most people avoid it because there are bandits out there. If you insist on going, I'll wait for you here.
And so this is the desert, and like in all the early King's Quest games, and which is the hallmark of a lot of EGA games, was just that places had like maps. And the only way to kind of figure out what you can do in this desert is to actually get a pen and pencil out and map what each screen is. And pretty much in this, after 8 screens, you die of thirst. So scattered across all this are a few oases, oasis-y, however you're supposed to pronounce that, and that's the only way you can survive, is to go however many screens, drink some. So that's the first warning, which means we've only got a couple more screens before we die. And here's some water, so hey, we can drink water and refresh the screen death counter.
Nectar of the gods.
One of the crazy things about this is how random some of the things are, and
Across the desert sands,
So pretty much, yeah, so you have to hide behind this thing. Oh, I'm gonna die. Oh, just made it. So if you're caught out in the open, these bandits will kill you. And pretty much you have to see this sequence, because if you roam the desert and you
Open sesame.
open sesame and you come across the bandit camp, you can't actually, these guys won't be there until you see this sequence. So there's something in here that we need to solve one of the other random puzzles in the town. So pretty much you just have to solve all the puzzles before you can move on and get all the items you need to survive the ice mountain climb. Which, unlike Sylvester Stallone in Cliffhanger, all you need is a t-shirt, but not in this.
Open sesame!
Open. Perhaps
Yep, we don't have the staff. So now we have to go to the bandit camp and get their staff. So we'll drink some water before we go, just in case.
life-giving water, nectar of the gods. Graham cannot feel strength and renewal flowing through him.
And pretty much just explore the desert. And the bandit camp is like all the way at the bottom somewhere, so so basically you have to find the oasis and keep going. This is something that they kind of stopped doing after this game. This was kind of one of the last games where they had like an entire maze section, or I'm pretty sure King's Quest 6 had something similar, but not as obviously mazy as this. In the early King's Quest games, the screens would repeat themselves, so as soon as you read the rest bit of the world, you would just end up on the other side, which made it confusing. And it was always a part of King's Quest, which was to basically map out, and early PC games in general was just map out, early adventure games, map out all the areas. And obviously, being King's Quest, you can die quite a bit, so normally you'd be pretty much saving at every oasis or every place that kind of looks safe. Here we are, we found the bandit camp. And this guy's drunk. So we can steal some of their water, because these guys are distracted by the belly dancer.
Life-giving water, nectar of the gods. Graham now.
It's pretty much a milestone release for 1990, considering that pretty much only high-end PCs at that point were even VGA, let alone had actual CD-ROMs and stuff. So this is the staff, so we gotta be careful not to cross his path.
Taking care to be very quiet. Graham reaches out, takes the staff into his possession.
So basically, yep, if you try and walk across the rug, he wakes up and you die. Because there's so many ways to die in King's Quest. It's almost ludicrous. So now that we have the staff, we can go to the secret sesame place. And the thing about King's Quest is that it pretty much is a mishmash of so many different fantasy things that it's hard to even see any sort of defining vision, because each game kind of takes place in some mysterious place.
Life-giving water, nectar of the gods. Graham can now feel strength and renewal flowing through him.
The only one that really has any sort of real through line I guess would be King's Quest 4 and 6, probably the two best ones. King's Quest 5, this is not a bad game, it's just that it's not the best King's Quest, but it is a pretty cool, one of the first point and clicks. Fun little bit of trivia, that little hat that Graham wears is called the Adventurer's hat. And he wears it when he goes on adventures. That's why he's not wearing his crown. A little bit of a silly thing, but hey. It was established in the very first King's Quest game,
Like
I think.
water, nectar of the gods. Graham can now feel strength and renewal flowing through him.
It'll be interesting to see how the new King's Quest turns out compared to these games, because these games are very specific in how cruel they are, in the amount of ways you can die, and not having the right items,
Sesame!
which we'll get to
Oh
the
no,
most infamous bit
the staff
after this.
broke.
Now this is pretty bad as well, so in here you set to brakes and you gotta grab these two
Quickly,
things
Graham,
quickly
bending down.
and walk out before it closes, because you pretty much only got
That
10
was
seconds
close.
once you go in there, and then you're stuck and it's game over. So that's the kind of stuff you're dealing with, which is why you pretty much have to save after every step. And why I'm not saving after every step is because I've played through all this bit recently, and I went through it all the hard way. So now that we've got the so we got a gold coin and a genie bottle thing. So the genie bottle thing, where you can pretty much open, will mean that it's game over. What we'll do is we'll just save and then just open it just to see what happens. Here we go.
Ah, freedom at last! Now you spend the next 500 years in a bottle.
Yep, so now we're going to be trapped for 500 years in a bottle.
Graham should know better than to keep things bottled up in.
So the thing is that pretty much a lot of the puzzles, obviously being trial and error, but with that one there, you pretty much have to die to know what happens. So now you know that
Sun and choking hands are
once you open the bottle, you get trapped in there for 500 years. So how can we use this bottle? And there's a like a haunted woods back at the town that, you know, where a witch lives. So pretty much then you can go, oh well, what item do I have that can get rid of the witch? Hey, it's a shiny gold bottle, maybe she'll be distracted by it, and yep, she gets distracted by it.
Don't worry about me, Cedric. I'm used
And then
to
she
this
gets
kind of
trapped.
thing.
And the only way you really know that is by actually dying, which is such a weird way of, kind of way of designing games that they don't really do anymore. LucasArts never really did, which is very specific to Sierra. So you need gold coin to see Madame Sierra, and yep, here's a gold coin, which we got one gold coin from that massive place filled with untold treasures.
Warning,
I mean, he couldn't
this
grab all the more.
contains material may be necessary for information or clues.
And this was
concerning
weird, because
game. Please be sure to check your inventory if you decide to skip.
this is one of the very first VGA games, or the very first VGA adventure game from Sierra, and so it had these elaborate animated sequences that, you know, we know it cutscenes, and obviously they didn't know how people would take it, how people were going to sit there and watch it, and then calling them cartoons, and they're kind of just normal story sequences, so they gave people the option to skip, and even like announce them. So,
The amulet is attached to a soft leather thong.
so we get this amulet that I can't remember from the fortune teller that does something or another. And this is a princess that has been cursed into becoming a tree. And we're going to need the harp that she's got, so we need to find a way to save the princess. Which we can do so by going into the woods there. Which we'll do in a sec. So after you go to, if you explore the desert as well, you aren't expected to, you can find this old shoe.
Come on, Cedric. There might be something important in here.
And we'll save it here. So there's this old shoe that you're going to need for this one sequence that doesn't make any sense and goes so quickly. The old shoe here. Nope. Yep, so we got the old shoe here. So this is crazy. So you find this old shoe in the desert, and only once you find the old shoe in the desert, this little animated sequence happens, and it only happens once. Is that you see a cat chasing a rat, and if you don't throw the old shoe at the rat when you get captured later on,
Suddenly, and exploding alert Graham to a mangy cat chasing a terrified rat.
so here we go. This happens only once, and you're like, okay, what's going on here? And that's literally 3 seconds. So by the time you even realize what's happening, you go, okay, that was weird. And that never happens again. And what you're supposed to do within that split second is grab your shoe, throw it at the cat, and the cat goes flying, and then the rat goes, hey, thanks, maybe I'll repay the debt one day. And then when you get captured at the inn, and you're tied up, the rat will come and gnaw the rope. If you saved him here. But if you didn't, it's game over, and you're left thinking, okay, how do I proceed? Maybe I get the items that I need in the inn, and you'll never know. And that's definitely a dead end that is ridiculous in how complicated it is, or how silly it is to think that people would have 3 seconds to realize that, okay, I need to throw a shoe at a cat. Which is, yeah, supremely cruel and typical of... Okay, I forgot to, that's right.
That old witch caught Graham totally off.
That's what the amulet does. Protects us from magic. That's
The
what I forgot.
magic amulet begins to glow softly as Graham slips it over his head. Then carefully tucks the amulet into the front of his tunic, hiding.
So now we know, like I say, so the sequence of puzzle events is, you know, you need a gold coin to see the fortune teller, and in order to get the gold coin you need to do all the whole desert stuff, and then the fortune teller gives you the amulet, which is a protection against magic. And the witch doesn't always appear, so yeah, so this time she doesn't appear here. But basically, yeah, so she will always appear here.
To Graham's great relief,
So there we go,
it
amulet
appears that the
saved us,
witch's magic
saved
has
Graham.
stopped by the amulet he's wearing, just as Madame Mushka said it would.
So now we can talk to the witch and say, hey, what up, witch?
What are you doing in my forest, young man? Don't you know you're trespassing?
Oh, I didn't know this was a private forest. Do you own it?
It's a little bit snarky from old Graham.
It's mine. And what did you do to my magic?
I don't think you need to know. Now tell me something. How does one leave this confusing forest?
I'll never tell. I'm afraid you're stuck, Gary. Now you're my prisoner.
We'll see about that.
Yes, won't we?
And so it's like, alright, how do we get past the old witch? And maybe she'll be interested in this thing. The shiny genie bottle. Hey, check this out. Oh, looks nice. That little cork sound is just funny.
Ah, freedom at last! Now you spend the next 500 years in a bottle.
And shabam! The witch gets bottled.
Good. That old witch won't be seen here for a long time.
And you see all these little frogs jumping around. These are like actual people. And one of the funny things in the game is that we never actually get to save these people or know who they are. We're just all these random villagers just hopping around. So this is inside the witch's place, and this is another case of the old pixel hunting.
Graham spies a small drawer.
So that little thing there is a drawer that we can interact with.
A small leather pouch.
So we've got a small leather
Graham
pouch.
reaches the drawer.
And if we open the pouch,
Upon opening the leather pouch, Graham discovers 3 sparkling emeralds.
3 sparkling emeralds. We can probably open this trunk. Yep.
A small, intricate spinning.
A spinning wheel.
Reaching a hand into
There's something up here. Have to get out of the way of it.
an interesting incense burner on a protruding tree branch. What's this? Why, it's a little key.
And so we found a key. Which is used to, so if you speak to that tree thing that's playing the harp, you do figure out that she was cursed by the witch, and the witch stole her heart. Or something like that. Again, another random person hopping around who will never get saved. They're just everywhere, these little frogs. So that key we found opens this tree lock.
Graham finds that the little key fits perfectly in this lock. Graham is charmed to find a little golden heart inside the door of the twisted old tree. Reaching into the little door of the tree, Graham extracts the little golden heart.
So we grab the heart, and hey, that's the harp lady's heart thing that we need to return to her. So it's like, hey, that's it, problem solved. Ding dong, etc, etc, the witch is dead. Let's get out of this forest place once and for all. But like any Sierra game, the forest is a maze. And there's actually no exit. So basically, you are stuck. And lucky actually the items you need to actually know. So this is where you need the honeycombs. If you don't have actually the honeycomb, you're screwed. So this screen where you see these little eyes.
Staring curiously at him through the heavy foliage of the dark forest, Graham notices several pairs of bright, blinking eyes.
So that's the clue that we need to do something with those eyes. So it's like, alright, let's try and lure them out. And turns out it's little gnomes. You can see we didn't have time to grab him, so it's like, well, we can waste the last one and then it's game over. Or we can put some honey down.
Graham squeezes the honeycomb as hard as he can, which causes the honey to come out of it, down, creating a sticky little puddle at his feet. Now all that's left of the honeycomb is a piece of beeswax, which Graham puts back in his pocket.
And we'll need that beeswax. So basically you have to lure them, they get closer and closer. And this last one we'll put on the honey, and which will trap one of these little gnome dudes, who are friendly enough, so they would probably help you either way.
Please, let me go. I beg of you.
Why should I do that?
You got
What
little
will you
chipmunk
do for
voices,
me?
of course.
I'll show you the way out of the forest if you let me go.
How do I know I can prostitute.
I give you my word. An elf never breaks his word.
It's like elves,
Well,
like happy little elves,
it's against my
basically.
better judgment, but okay.
Move over, Rocky. You're in our way.
Sorry.
And this is a way out of the evil forest, or the cursed forest, or the haunted forest.
Follow me. In here.
And we get to follow him. And trigger another cartoon.
Warning, this cartoon contains
Now
material
watch
that
this one. So, I mean, back in the day, this was impressive, and people would have basically said that, hey, this is like playing a cartoon or watching a cartoon. This is the happy little elf secret underground kingdom.
Over here. I've got something for you.
And this little elf gives you a nice pair of shoes, which you can give to the cobbler and the struggling cobbler back in town, and he'll give you his hammer, which you need, which I can't remember, I think to chisel something later on the ice mountain.
I never take anything without giving in return. For your generosity in giving me those exquisite emeralds, I give you my finest pair of shoes. May they help you in your quest.
And so that's how we get the shoes.
It's the way out of the dark forest.
Thank you very much for all your help. I'm sure I'll be able to find a use for these fine shoes.
And so we leave the forest. I mean, the secret underground kingdom of elves. And Cedric will be glad to see us.
You were right not to want to venture in that dark forest, Cedric. I thought I'd never get out of there alive.
And so there we have it. So now we've got shoes, spindle thing which we give to a gnome, who can turn straw into gold. At any point we can eat this delicious custard pie.
Custard pie looks delicious.
So if you eat it, like at any point, you're pretty much screwed.
That was the best custard pie Graham has ever eaten.
It's like it teases you, and now we don't have the custard pie and pretty much screwed. I'll see if I got a save where you're actually supposed to use the custard pie. Yep, here we are. So we're on the ice mountain. We've still got the custard pie, we've got the hammer, the harp, got a cloak keeping us warm. And this is where you're supposed to use the custard pie. Which doesn't make any sense. It's like, oh, how do I get rid of the Yeti? And here it comes for you. And basically, before it kills you, throw a custard pie at its face. And if you don't have the custard pie, it's game over, because it's delicious and you eat it. Which is Sarah Games in a nutshell. You need to save often and know what saves have what. And possibly even restart the entire game. So you have it. That's a bit of King's Quest V. And that'll be it for this week's Throwback Thursday. I'll catch you guys next time.